Shocking truths about crime investigations. Hollywood has made crime investigations a lot more relatable. And if you're like me, you've probably seen a lot of crime-based TV shows like Law and Order and all the versions of CSI. And you probably think you have an idea of what forensic science or crime scene investigations is all about. Well, think again, because in this video, we'll be exploring some things we think you never knew about criminal investigations. So make sure you stick till the end, because we've got something truly astonishing things waiting for you there. Now, without wasting any more of your time, let's get to the video. Detectives don't analyze the evidence. The first misconception a lot of people have regarding crime scene investigations is that detectives analyze the evidence. This is the job of a different set of people called crime scene investigators. These are the guys who gather and send evidence to a lab where forensic scientists take things over. Now, I know TV shows like CSI and Criminal Minds have blurred the difference between the roles of a detective and a forensic scientist, but their roles are pretty different. In fact, unless in high-profile cases, forensic scientists might not even find out the result of their work. These experts have little to no contact with the detectives, and I know it's pretty confusing because you're probably used to seeing detectives arrive at a crime scene first. However, in reality, the detectives actually require clearance from the CSI before they are even granted access to a crime scene. Quite shocking, right? DNA is mostly worthless. Now, the next point is definitely one of the most misunderstood facts about crime scene investigations. This misconception is caused mostly by the movie industry, but if I told you, you might find it very hard to believe. Did you know that DNA is mostly worthless unless there is something to compare it to? You see, on TV, a fingerprint might pull up a criminal's record from a database and lead investigators to some top-secret location somewhere in the woods. But in real life, that just doesn't happen. Sorry to bust your bubble. The fact is, fingerprints aren't even considered a major piece of evidence. This is because literally anyone and anything can contaminate a crime scene. And trust me, everything from hair to saliva to even fingernails can leave a DNA trace. Because of this, DNA doesn't really work unless the police already have a suspect and they can find a match for his or her DNA at the crime scene. Furthermore, DNA testing can be highly unreliable, as one test carried out in 2016 asked participants to shake hands with a partner and then hold a knife. In 85% of the tests, they found the DNA of the person who didn't even touch the knife, while in 15%, they were identified as the main DNA contributor. Solving crime takes time. Next on our list is one we must all know already. However, it's still worth mentioning. In real life, most crimes take an insanely long amount of time to solve. Now, although movies make it seem like there's a new case to investigate every week, they don't necessarily show most of the background work that goes into it. Detectives and crime scene investigators can work on a case for up to a year. And also, lab work takes an insanely large amount of time. DNA testing is another part of investigations that takes days and can even span weeks before they make any sort of headway. What is truly crazy is that on average, the time taken to analyze 1 terabyte hard drive of evidence can reach up to 3 or even 4 hours alone. Now imagine how long it would take to verify over 20 hard drives that forensic scientists might have to go through for one case alone. Not forgetting that they also have to analyze the data carefully. In an interview with BBC, Max Houck, who was a former FBI forensic scientist, explained that across the United States of America, there are over 300,000 backlog DNA tests. And this means that DNA testing, as fast as you see them do in movies, is only science fiction and nothing more. Serial killers aren't that common. Nowadays, in just about every crime-based TV show, there are notorious serial killers on the run. This has produced an understandably skewed impression that serial killers are more common than they are. There's a reason serial killer cases are given more attention than regular murderers, and that is simply because they're rare. Nothing about killing another person is regular. In fact, the FBI defines a serial killer as someone who kills 3 or more people in the space of a month or more, with no significant period of time between them. Also, in a study made in 2010, it was established that less than 1% of homicides were actually carried out by serial killers. And that's according to the FBI's definition, by the way. Instead, most murders were the result of robberies or jealous lovers. So don't get it twisted. There aren't as many serial killers in the world as Hollywood paints it. Paperwork. Well, one general misconception that Hollywood and the movie industry have helped to perpetuate is that the legal system is a streamlined and speedy process. But this couldn't be any farther away from the truth. Now, although it makes sense that movies choose to showcase this part of solving a crime in a bid to make for very interesting and enjoyable viewing, the truth is, in real life, the process actually takes hours and hours of paperwork. I bet we all know that for any investigation to hold any sort of weight in the courtroom, there needs to be documentation for every action taken at a crime scene. A crime scene investigator, Paige Green, said in an interview that an hour at a crime scene can generate several hours of paperwork because, firstly, every angle of the crime scene and every piece of evidence must be photographed and marked after that. These photographs are collected on a CD or drive and then submitted with any other evidence that was collected. So if anyone makes a diagram, it has to be redrawn and with special software. After this extremely long process, the investigator then has to write out a detailed report of everything they've done. Now, if a movie had so many scenes showcasing proper paperwork ethics, I doubt you'd still watch it, because it'll obviously bore you. The pen. Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say it's quite common to see an investigator in most crime-based movies strut to the crime scene in their tailor-made suits and then suddenly spot something that the forensic team failed to see in their sweep of the scene. Aside from the fact that this is pretty offensive to real CSI teams, what the detective does next must really drive them crazy. The detectives often pick up the evidence before even backing it for further examination by forensic scientists. But worst of all, TV and film detectives often decide to pick up said evidence with the same pen they've been using to take notes. Now, that creates a question of where that pen was beforehand, because if the answer is someone's mouth or even the hand, that piece of evidence becomes contaminated with the DNA of the person. Video enhancing isn't real. At number 1, we have a crime procedure that is so common it has its own entry on TV tropes. Now, don't get me wrong. While video enhancement is definitely possible, results on your average everyday security camera will rarely be as crystal clear as they are on TV, and certainly not as precise as they are on an infamous episode of CSI. In a particular episode, the investigators were able to enhance the video to the point that they found their culprit reflected in the corner of a frame. Now that is laughable, right? Well, this line of thought has driven a lot of people to believe there's a magical zoom and enhance button that allows them to take heavily pixelated and grainy footage. Footage that allows them to zoom in and enhance the footage such that it wastes none of its quality in the process. So which of these shocking truths did you find most unbelievable? And most importantly, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye!